Hey, and good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back for your 5 o'clock update. Hot off the presses as the storm continues to strengthen and get stronger. A very, very powerful hurricane, Category 5. Hot off the wire. We've got 180-mile-per-hour winds out there. Pressure is falling down to 905 millibars. A very significant storm, a historical one to say the least. To put this in perspective right now, with this pressure down to 905 millibars. That ties it with Hurricane Dean back in 2007, as well as Hurricane Mitch back in 1998 for the strongest hurricane. What is that? The eighth strongest hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico, or in the basin there. Just absolutely amazing to see. Now the question is, how much lower is it going to go? The all-time record, by the way, is 882 millibars from Hurricane Wilma back in 2005. So we've got some new advisories here. I'll have to update the crawl here that just came out. Hurricane warnings are now officially up along the coastal zones there as we're looking at that right now. So again, we've got a lot of stuff to go over here. And in fact, I'll go ahead and switch over to the wall here so I can kind of highlight this here a little bit, although I do want to fix something real quick. So before I go over there, just give me 1 second, because I don't like that. Drives me a little crazy when it offsets like that, just a little bit. So I'm just going to fix that little graphic there for me real quick. There we go. And let's go over here to the wall real quick so I can talk a little bit more about this. So here's, I got a hurricane warnings here. These were just issued, just upgraded here. Very wide, still got a pretty decent wide path here, but still looking at the center, they're still looking at Tampa right here. Hurricane watches as expected for the other side of the coast. Again, we're expecting hurricane winds to go clear across the coastal area here. We got tropical storm watches here going on either side of that. Warnings are in blue there. So again, that looks like the path of this is going to stay just far enough offshore. I think Mexico's going to be all right. It started turning due east. It did not go further south as which originally was showing. I'll show you that here in just a second. But again, making that turn, and as it makes that turn, and it gets between here 1 o'clock on Wednesday, in this period here, the wind field is going to really start to expand on out here. So we got a big target zone to watch in here as we go into the landfall. Again, still projecting this late in the day. On, you notice by 1 a.m. Thursday, it's showing landfall right here. So it's slowed down a little bit, not nearly as much. It looks like it's going to be late Wednesday. Maybe be starting to broadcast a little bit later on Wednesday if we're going to go that late for landfall. But it looks like another nighttime landfall, just like we have with the lean here, as this continues to move off in when it turns off into a northeasterly direction. Just a very, very powerful storm here that we're going to watch closely here on the channel. If you're coming into this update after the live update, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing so. Just hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you learn on future content. And as always, if you got any feedback or comment, please leave it down below. I do appreciate you guys' feedback here. So again, we're looking at a very compact storm. The hurricane force winds only go out about 30 miles from the center, and the tropical storm force winds 80 miles from the center. So it is a very tight hurricane right now, but just absolutely just beautiful. Look at the pinwheel, this thing just spinning about. I mean, just absolutely gorgeous, but very deadly. Also, I read from one of the vortex messages, they observed a flock of birds trapped in the hurricane. They're just floating around. They got stuck in the eye there, and they're kind of stuck right now with that. So just unbelievable setup there with this thing. Just what they call stadium effect, where it goes down right down in the middle. The pressure is just sinking right in the middle of it. Probably have to put my cross section video. I have one graphic I still need to create here for you guys, which I still need to do. I've got it ready, just haven't done it yet. So we'll get into that right now. So again, we've got a situation where we've got rain already falling across Florida. Okay, so this is part of the flooding concerns there. That'll continue not only for today, or today, but into tomorrow in advance of said hurricane. So flooding is going to be a bit of a problem here across the area. I went ahead and put together this new quad here. This is some of the cameras I'll be watching, observing as we get closer toward landfall, Key West, Naples, Siesta Key, and of course the Tampa riverfront there, which Tampa, if we get a direct hit there, you're talking about the first time in since 1921 where a major hurricane struck Tampa directly. There's only been like 14 storms that have gone from west to east across the Gulf that on record that they've been tracking. So again, these are just some of the cameras that we'll be looking for. The other part of this story, again, we got to talk about the fact that power is still a problem in Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina. Still have not fully recovered there from the outage. Granted, not as bad as it was, but now we're looking at another big power concerns for the state of Florida. Florida is going to be seeing some outages. They still have some outages there from Helene. I think the last number we saw there was, right now 6,458. That's not too bad, but Georgia still got 74,000 without power, South Carolina 42, and of course North Carolina, the big one there with 131,000 power outages. And we're going to obviously knock out power to millions there across portions of Florida as this thing comes across. So we got several things we got to watch, obviously, for this as we go through time. The first thing we're going to watch here, obviously, is the severe component. That yellow area, that's going to be your primary zone for tornadoes for your day 3 outlook. We'll have to deal with the tornado threat here as that comes in. The other part of this, of course, is going to have to be, obviously, the flooding threat here. That's going to be quite significant. We're going to have to watch and see how that develops, as well as we got several days of rain that's going to fall into the same zone. So that's going to be a problem. So this is the day 1 out. This is just for today. Going to day 2, again, you see that slight risk continuing for tomorrow. And then obviously the day 3 going out very high to moderate risk as the storm progresses across that area there as we go throughout the day on Wednesday. So flooding will be a concern there as the storm crosses. So again, let me go ahead and give you the wrap up on here. So what to expect, kind of the overview here. So again, you got flooding that's going to be a concern, as I just showed you there. Wind threat, obviously significant. I'll need to take a look here. I've not looked at the discussion here yet to see what the winds are expected at landfall at 1 o'clock. Okay, so yeah, they're bringing it pretty close to Category 4 status when it makes landfall now. And that's kind of not to expect. They do expect slight strengthening. They expected to top out at 185 mile per hour winds, and then bring it down and bring it inland in 60 hours. It'll still be producing 125 mile per hour winds as it moves inland in about 60 hours. So, man, we're talking about some, this is going to be historic, to say the least. The storm surge is going to be tremendous. I don't know if the plot is updated here. Let me check and see if that is actually updated here or not. So this is let me update this real quick and see if this has changed much here. This is the forecast storm surge, which again is going to be tremendous in this area, quite a bit. So let me go ahead and refresh this and see if it's got the latest track on here and if it's updated the track in here. So let me zoom in here. And this is a great tool I found on the internet when it comes to these positions and kind of looking at the storm surge. So it projects what the storm surge is going to be here. So again, you're looking at 54 hours, looking at 160 mile. Wow, they still have this. They have this at 130 mile per hour winds, a Cat 4 in 54 hours, and then inland at 60 hours, showing it at about 120 mile per hour winds. So you're still looking at a significant Cat 3, Cat 4. Still looks like at that trajectory, boy, that's going to really. Still waiting for this thing to load. Come on, bugger, load up in there. Trying to load up the storm surge here across the Tampa region. This is, of course, all the Tampa Bay, St. Petersburg, Tampa, that whole area in there. And come on, there it goes. I mean, we're talking about some tremendous flooding in here. Downtown Tampa getting inundated here. We're talking potentially upwards of 16 feet. 16 feet getting up into this area right in here. Tremendous flooding in here. And so we'll see how this kind of works out as we go through it. Of course, even down here along the coastal areas, you're looking at quite a significant flooding down in here as well, as all that water is going to be poised as it's coming in at that angle. So flooding is going to be a big problem here as the storm makes its landfall. So again, if you guys are just joining us here on the channel, we are expecting some significant issues with this storm, a historic storm that if it continues on this current trajectory, major metropolitan area like Tampa, St. Petersburg is going to be inundated. Hopefully everybody is listening to the latest from the Hurricane Center, as also from the emergency evacuees. One thing I do want to show you, I saw this on Twitter, I wanted to show this. Remember, Tampa just got hit here not that long ago. Let me switch over to the Twitter feed here. I want to show you this. And let me get over to the X feed. Yeah, here we go. So this is cleanup in the Tampa area. This is Anna Maria Island near Tampa. Look at all that debris there. That is still there. And when that storm surge comes into that area, guess what? All that stuff, it's going to get pushed on inland again. I mean, just absolutely heartbreaking to see this kind of thing where you got all this debris that's piled up and cleaned up from Helene, and all this stuff may get pushed in even further with some more debris from Martin coming in there. So just a tremendously bad problem right now is that pressure at 905 millibars, just unbelievable. So again, here is the latest on that storm. Again, the maximum winds at 180 miles per hour. It is tied with two other named storms for the strongest in the Atlantic Basin here. The all-time high, of course, being Wilma there in 2005 at 882. The pressure might fall slightly. We'll see if it gets in the 800s. That'll be interesting to see. The next one on the list, of course, is Katrina was at 902 millibars, and Camille was at 900 millibars. So that's next two on the list. We'll see how low that pressure will go as the storm makes landfall. Now, I'm going to continue to do these live updates here. I'll do another one at 8 o'clock, and then we'll shut down for that. Looks like Tuesday, we'll do it throughout the day, but the timing of the landfall has shifted to a little bit later. It's now moved into where landfall looks like it's at 1 o'clock in the morning. Originally looked like it was going to be like maybe 8 o'clock again. Any change in the deviation of that forward speed can make a big difference here. Oh, one thing I do want to show you real quick, that some good news for Mexico at least. Let's try to end on some good news here. I want to go over here to Radar Omega here. I want to show you the satellite imagery here. It's getting a little low, but it's still pretty neat to see here. So let's go over to this, and the track is shifted further north, and it's still staying north of the. Before it did look like the original track had it kind of doing something like this, okay, and then it started turning almost due east. So it looks like because of how tight that eye is, it's going to stay away far enough off the coast there of Mexico, where I don't think they'll get the hurricane force winds. They'll probably get the tropical storm force winds, but I don't think it'll get close enough with the hurricane force winds. I think it'll stay far enough offshore. But look how symmetrical that thing looks. I mean, just absolutely textbook stadium effect there for that right there. I like to go back over the wall again, and I mean, you can look right down into the ocean right there. Flock of birds got caught in there. I mentioned that earlier there. But it did make a turn almost due east here, kind of a little bit wobble to the north. So they did adjust this track a little bit, straightened it out a little bit. So I think it'll continue on the easterly trajectory here. We'll see if that impacts the fact that it didn't go as far south, to see if it impacts what it does further upstream. But right now, officially, they still got this thing going pretty close to Tampa going into Wednesday night and early Thursday morning now. So it has changed just a little bit there on that. Here's, of course, is the coastal area of the Yucatan Peninsula. But again, just amazing to see that kind of hurricane get strengthened up and look like that right there. All right, so we're going to be back here again, coming your way at 8 o'clock. We'll do another advisory at that time, and then we'll we'll break things down, and we'll get ready for that extensive wall-to-wall coverage that we're going to do as we head into on Wednesday, obviously. So obviously, I have to pace myself. I did 15 hours when we did Helene, and we'll see how it works out here with this one. I'm trying to get back to another graphic if I can find what I did with it. Yeah, here we go. Get back on this one. So here we go. So again, a historic storm, powerful storm, one for the books. The track on this thing, boy, Orlando. Again, we're talking Tampa, we're talking Orlando, going off the coast, and then going up near, not too far from the Cape area there as well, near Cape Canaveral. So it is going to be a monster storm. All right, we'll see you guys back in here at 8 o'clock for your next update. We'll see if we get any more changes there, as the hurricane aircraft are going to stay out there all night. Typically, these storms, they do go through ice cycle replacement. They're not going to be able to hold that strength for too long, usually about 24 to 36 hours. Once it bottoms out, there'll be a replacement cycle. And I think at that time when it happens, that's when that wind field will begin to expand on out at that time. And at the 8 o'clock advisory, I want to look at some of the 18Z model run at that time. A lot of them are kind of coming in right now, and we'll look at it at that time. So, all right, you guys take it easy. We'll see you back in here at 8 o'clock for your next update. Until then, be safe out there. Stay on top of things.